They paved over my vegetable garden for a basketball court, so I turned off their sewage pump for a month. I'd spent 15 years perfecting that garden. Heirloom tomatoes, rare peppers, beans my grandmother brought from Italy. Every weekend, hands in soil, building raised beds, installing irrigation, creating something beautiful from nothing. Came back from a trucking run to find fresh asphalt where my garden used to be, a regulation basketball court with professional hoops and LED lighting. The Andersons next door had expanded their property renovation onto my land. Mr. Anderson, a tech startup guy who called himself a serial entrepreneur, had been eyeing my corner lot since he moved in, said it was underutilized. Offered to buy it 3 times. I refused every time. When I confronted him, he was shooting hoops with his kids. "Oh, that old garden," he said. "My contractor said it was abandoned. We figured you wouldn't mind. Consider it a neighborhood improvement." A neighborhood improvement. 15 years of soil building destroyed. Seeds I'd saved for decades gone. The memorial roses I'd planted for my mother ripped out. The police said it was a civil matter. Anderson's lawyer claimed good faith improvement of neglected land. The court date was months away. But I knew something Anderson didn't. When he'd built his dream house, he'd gone cheap on the septic system. Instead of proper gravity flow, he'd installed an electric pump system, and that pumps power supply. It ran through an easement across my property. See, before his house existed, the previous owner had needed to run power to an old barn. My father had granted an easement for the electrical line. When Anderson built, he'd simply tapped into that existing power run for his sewage pump. Never updated the paperwork, never asked permission. That night, I walked to the junction box on my property and flipped the breaker. Anderson's sewage pump went silent. Day 1, toilets started backing up. Anderson called plumbers, who found nothing wrong with the house systems. Day 3, raw sewage bubbled up through floor drains. The smell hit like a wall. Day 5, the health department condemned the house. Anderson's family fled to a hotel. Hazmat teams arrived. The cleanup estimate hit $75,000. Anderson's lawyer called, screaming about sabotage. I calmly explained that I'd discontinued an informal electrical arrangement for safety reasons. Without a legal easement, I had no obligation to provide power across my property. For a month, they lived in hotels while fighting with insurance, contractors, and the health department. The basketball court they built. Excavated to install a new gravity flow septic system, the only solution without my power access. Finally, Anderson appeared at my door, ego deflated, checkbook in hand. He offered to remove the court, pay for garden restoration, and compensate for the destroyed plants. I added my terms, $100,000 for the garden, plus a permanent power easement at $1,000 monthly. He signed without reading the fine print. Any future property modification required my written approval. Now my garden is rebuilt, better than ever, with professional greenhouse attached. And every month when Anderson pays his easement fee, he remembers that some things can't be paved over. Some neighbors think they can take what they want. Then they learn what happens when their shit literally has nowhere to go. Like and subscribe for more neighborhood justice.